And we're live.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to episode. All right, David, shut up. I got it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of the Trainer Feed. Today we're going to be concluding the final coaching segment where David is a role of the coach, Angel is a role of the client, and with the aim of the focus being nutritional coaching, we will see if there are other habits that can be covered when those guys have the conversation. But let's say hello to everyone. Angel, how you feeling today?
Feeling good. Feeling pretty good. David, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm human again. It's week 2 of being good. No Rona.
No Rona.
No Rona.
How you doing?
Anyway.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
All right, so recapping where we were last week, where I had played the role of the coach and David was a role of the client, and the ultimate take-home messages, if you will, were that David has the aim of going to sleep by midnight. He's watching Vikings, right, the TV series, and if he's going to watch 3 episodes, he can't start late at 9 p.m. He wants to watch 3 episodes. And then also the conscious skills of working on his intake of vegetables, greens. And we spoke about, obviously it's very hard in the pandemic to make sure you have the greens available to you, but if the scenario was to propose stuff where he's not able to get the green vegetables fresh, then we would look at the alternative of getting frozen vegetables. Actually, David, since it's been a week, how does that look like for you?
It's been good, actually. I mean, I've gotten sleep. I would say I've gotten decent sleep. I would say maybe 4.5 out of the 7 days. I've been doing naps throughout the day. So the show has gotten not as good. So it's kind of like, there are times where I'm like, this is shit, so I'm not gonna watch it anymore. But I'm still watching it, but I'm not watching it as late at night, so I'm able to actually try to get some sleep.
Has the bedtime been round about the same every night, or
around midnight?
Around midnight. Okay.
So I've been getting up at like 8. Yeah, so it's not too bad. I mean, there was one night where I would sleep at 10:30, and I woke up a couple times throughout the night, but it was fine otherwise.
What about the greens and vegetables intake?
I've been doing a lot of the veggies, so I got a whole bag of like green beans. I bought some stuff, some frozen veggies like Brussels sprouts and broccoli florets and things like that. But I've gotten a lot of the fresh stuff, and I was able to make them basically, and put them so that I could eat them the next day, things like that.
Nice.
Like I said before, like I said last week, I think the biggest issue for me was finding the motivation in a way to do it. Like if I'm watching something, I'm like, okay, I got to stop watching this so I could spend an extra like 25, 30 minutes to go cook. Like I made a stir fry yesterday, and that took like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So it wasn't too bad. So yeah.
Do you think that us having that? Sorry, go on.
No, I'm done. What were you saying?
All I was going to say was, you think us having the conversation of instead of saying we were going to consciously be better or healthy and wiser about choices, the fact that you had specificity in what you were going to work on, do you feel that helped you have a clearer picture of what to do and work on for a week? And then now that we're recapping, you feel that it was actually probably more successful than if you had not had any specific goals to follow?
Yeah, no, it's sort of the same like with my workouts. What I've been doing before was, in a way, winging it. I mean, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I was able to write it down. And once I written all that stuff down, I kept it more of a stable routine. So I was doing that with what we spoke about last week. I had stuff written down, like, okay, I got to do this. I got to try to go here. I got to try to do that. And it was a lot easier than sort of winging it, basically.
Good. All right. Angel, do you want anything to add to that, or?
I mean, I'll wait for David to kind of like give me, put me through it, so to speak. But yeah, it's everybody's got to find, I guess in summation, like everybody's got to find essentially what works for them. And when working on habits, it's not necessary. It's going to be trial and error. But I guess the focus from a coach's perspective is to try to make it the least amount of trial before you actually find success, right? So reducing the reps, try to really hone in on what's going to work for that specific client, get feedback, and try to make it so that the client doesn't have to try it 10 or 15 times. Like they'll nail it within like the first couple of tries.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So David, you want to get started?
Yeah. All right, Angel. So first question I have is, same question that we've asked each other was, what are your goals? I mean, I know we're in quarantine right now, or NY pause, whatever, but right now, what's something that you want to focus on?
I think nutrition wise, like I have a couple of areas of opportunity. I think that for a while I was dehydrated because I wasn't like walking around and like training clients. So like the rhythm of how I drank water and how much water I drank in a day, that was kind of like fluctuating. So I think dehydration was one thing that I was thinking about. Then another one was like greens. And that's been like a longer battle. So that's been prior to the quarantine, like I've been struggling to get like a good amount of greens in a day. So that could be another thing. And then I guess the last thing that I would focus on, nutritionally speaking, is like the timing of my meals. So I think that has kind of gone out of whack because of, pretty much just the quarantine, a different lifestyle, right? So like I'm sitting down more, the opportunity to snack is always there. So I think those are the three things. I think dehydration, eating more greens, and then like the frequency of my meals.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try to tackle those individually. Some of them, I would say, don't have to be in the same priority level as the other ones. For example, what I would suggest right now is meal timing is hard, especially right now since we're in quarantine. I know it sounds easy because we're at home and we aren't doing anything, but in a way, it's still difficult because we're used to having a routine. We're used to walking around. We're used to doing things, and then you're like, okay, I have this small break in my day, so let me eat. Now you're like, I have hours that are free, and eating and meal timing, especially if you're not even hungry, sort of falls, in the back burner. One thing that I think you can improve on in a good way is hydration. Right now, do you have a water bottle with you? Like what size are we looking at in terms of what's your water bottle? Since you're gonna be with it all the time. How many
40.
ounces does that have?
Big 40.
Okay.
40 ounces.
Good. So what you could do right now, the first thing I would suggest is setting a goal for yourself. If you have a board at home or if you have a notepad or anything, setting up sort of like, okay, I need to have 4 of these, and every time you finish one of them, just have one little notch on your whiteboard or on your tablet or whatever, or set yourself an alarm. Okay, I should have had already 2 of these in my day, and I haven't. So at that point, it'll be a little harder to try to maybe catch up. I don't want you to drink 80 ounces of water within 15 minutes, but it'll keep you sort of in line in terms of, okay, I should have had 2 of these by now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a suggestion. Is that something you think you can manage?
Yeah, I think I can do that. Maybe not on a whiteboard, but maybe like I can set a reminder on my phone, like probably like a reminder setting, like at a certain time. So by 10 a.m., I would have drank at least one of the 40-ounce like containers or whatever, and then like I don't know, 1 p.m. another 40 ounce, and then maybe 6 p.m. another 40 ounce. Like trying to spread those out throughout the day. I think that's a realistic thing for me to do. B, I think it'll help target the chronic dehydration because I think it's affecting me in other ways too, like motivation, sleep, etc.
Yeah, there have been a lot of studies, in terms of hydration and performance, especially since we're so used to running around doing things and working out in a gym, doing certain things, I forget the number, but I think it's somewhere along the lines of 3 to 4% that it affects us in terms of performance.
Right.
So hydration, I think even now, hydration is a big thing because it can help you nutritionally as well.
Yeah.
So now also, that being said, 120 ounces a day, I think is a great number. There are people that don't even have close to 50.
Right.
But that doesn't include all the stuff you have in terms of, whatever, whenever you have your coffee or whenever you have, I don't know, tea or juice or whatever you have, laying around. All that stuff does have water. So your water intake is going to be a little more than 120, especially if you keep it along the lines of having 3 of your bottles a day. All right.
And
cool.
I think also going
now in terms, what?
No, I was gonna say I think it'll help me out with snacking as well, right? Because like a lot of times people reach for foods because they're chronically dehydrated or they're just dehydrated, period, acutely, chronically, whatever. And I think that the more water I intake in a day or the higher that level is, then the less likely I will be towards like snacking. And then it'll go into meal frequency, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I'm glad you brought up snacking. I mean, we spoke about snacking with Jacques 2 weeks ago, and that's a tough one because I fell victim to it too. I did my whole Amazon Prime delivery, and I got a shit ton of snacks, and it's not good because I got like a 18. I have no shame. I bought an 18 pack variety of chips, little mini chip bags. Not good. I went through them. So yeah. Now,
I think we're losing Bravo. Can you hear?
What's the thing that you snack on the most? I can hear you guys.
Okay. So the thing that I snack on the most, pause. I think that frequently, like I'll eat. I don't even know what I eat. Like, that's the crazy part. I think I just start eating my meals. Like I just start digging into my meals because I have the meals there. I don't really eat chips. I don't eat candy. Um, you know, I started baking. That's one thing. I started baking for my girlfriend, and like I guess I eat some of her baked goods or whatever. But like pause or not pause. But like I just eat my meals. I just continuously eat the meals that were already prepared. And that I think is what I snack on.
Okay.
Than anything else.
Now, would you say that you're snacking on the meals that you have set for that day, or snacking on meals that you have for the next day?
Just snacking on whatever's in the fridge. Like if there's like, it's not even. I guess it's like sometimes it's meals from that day. Like I'll have lunch prepared. Like it'll be breakfast time. I'll have lunch prepared, and then like I'll start going into lunch and just start eating lunch like at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. But I will say that kind of is consistent with how I used to eat because as trainers, like we get up early, right? Our first client generally is at 6. And people at like 5 up until the last week that I was training. So my breakfast starts around like, I don't know, either I eat breakfast before that client at like 4 something, or I eat breakfast after that client around like 6 or 7 or 8. But then I'm ready for my next meal right around 10. And right now, like I'm still waking up relatively early because I started training some people early. So it's actually in line with what the timeline is. It's just like I eat more, like I guess I'm more conscious of how much I eat, and then I'm just eating like into those meals more frequently, like without shame, versus like when I go to work, you have X amount of meals and that's packed. Like I'll just be like, all right, I got these meals, but I can also cook. You know what I mean? Like
accountability right there.
Yeah. So if I can cook, then I can just like whip something up right there and then all of a sudden I'm just like eating a ton of crap that I wouldn't have eaten otherwise.
Okay. Well, one thing that I could, I would suggest, something that it's helped me is if you do meal prep your meals for the week or for the day, put all your meals that aren't for that same day at a spot in the place in your fridge that's not easily, visible, and keep the things that you need to have for that day, let's say on the top shelf of it. Add something that'll make you sort of do extra work to get to those extra meals that you don't need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes
All
sense.
right, so that could be something you could probably try. All right. So in terms of greens, what are the greens that you're having? What are some greens that you enjoy to have?
That's a little tricky. I guess there's not really something that I won't have. Recently I've been picking up like salads from Trader Joe's, and going to Trader Joe's right now is like, I don't know, stepping into the apocalypse. But
Oh man, I heard the lines were like to another avenue, aren't they? And I've seen videos and pictures.
they're a little wild. But you know what? Like people just show up. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to listen to this podcast, so I don't want to let out the secrets to too many people. But like, just show up early. Like Trader
Yeah.
Joe's is going to open at 8. Then show
And
up
then-
at like, I don't know, like at least at 7:15. Like 7:30
All
is
right, so
still
you got to be there at 6.
Nah, you don't gotta be there at 6. That's what they say because people are just like, oh. But nah, you don't gotta be there at 6. They're actually opening up at 9 these days. But anyway, I'm going towards Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. But yeah. So typically, like I eat like salad from Trader Joe's. I eat broccoli. Steamed veggies go down really well for me. Edamame, corn. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Like I eat those. I think steamed is easier for me than raw. Um, and
Would you say that again?
steamed veggies, like steamed and cooked, are easier for me than raw. So like
Okay.
the likelihood that I'll eat like raw Brussels sprouts or something like that is low, or raw broccoli or whatever. I mean, who does?
I don't think anyone eats raw Brussels sprouts. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like eating a jawbreaker.
Pretty much, but worse.
Jacques eats raw
I don't
Brussels
eat.
sprouts.
I don't eat them, but I know someone probably does.
Well, carrots you can eat raw, like that's
Yeah, carrot's fine.
yeah. But yeah, I think I prefer cooked vegetables um over just raw vegetables. So that's what
Okay. So what's the issue in terms of having them? You're saying that you have an issue with not having enough greens. Is it that you don't buy enough? Is it that you don't want to cook them? Is it that you just aren't buying the things you enjoy?
I think I just don't buy them. I don't buy them for me. I buy them for my girlfriend, and then I end up eating them with her, right? But she's the priority. So I think that if I go into it like saying like here are gonna be like the proteins, here are gonna be like the carbohydrates, and here are gonna be like the greens or something like that, like trying to structure it a little bit more, like taking a focus on the greens that I'm going to consume. I think that will help me out a little bit more so than anything else. But typically, I don't think about what I'm going to consume in terms of greens. I'm just doing the basis for my girlfriend and then just cooking that up.
Do you write down what you're gonna go buy at the grocery store before you go?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would say is I understand what your girlfriend's going through right now in terms of this whole COVID-19 stuff, and I get that you want to make her a priority, but also you need to make yourself a priority. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. You gotta treat yourself 2020. So what I would say is whenever you go into buying greens and you think about what your girlfriend is gonna eat, also right after that say, okay, she's gonna have this. I need to get a portion of it for myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rather than being like, okay, I gotta buy a whole bunch of these Brussels sprouts because I'm gonna cook this for my girlfriend and I'll just happen to eat what I'm gonna make.
Right.
You need to be like, okay, I'm gonna buy this for my girlfriend, but I also need this for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
100%.
So that's something you could think about, especially when you go to the grocery store.
No, I think that's a good focus to have. I think that'll work.
Yeah.
I think that'll work.
Yeah, because one big thing too is a support system. Like I'm not saying that you don't have a support system, but if you're trying to cook healthy for your significant other, then it'll help you as well. Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that'll help increase the frequency that I'll eat like greens and stuff like that. It's like something that I make, or even like checking out some recipes. Like I got time to cook, right? So, and I know you can do a lot with like some of these greens. Maybe I should try a couple of recipes to make it a little bit better.
Exactly. Good. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever make make your veggies for the next day, or do you always make them on the day, the same day?
No, sometimes I make them on like I make them for the next day and stuff like that as well.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So at this point, maybe make a little more for yourself.
Yeah. The trick is not going into it. Now I'm gonna start eating these greens. I'll become like the Hulk or something like that.
I want to see that.
Like Popeye, right? He eats the spinach.
Oh God! But you're only gonna have muscles on your forearms, you know.
Oh, that's a problem.
David would mention that.
I mean, anyway.
Because you haven't
Cool.
got that here, right, David?
I'm sorry.
You haven't got that problem right now, right here. Let's
No,
go.
man. I'm just telling you, the Rona hit me, man, and that's a new diet. You gotta get the flu a couple times a year. You're good. I'm joking.
Oh, damn.
All right.
Don't do that. All right, now meal timing.
Mm.
So meal timing. What's your current schedule in terms of eating?
Whenever.
Do you have one?
No.
Whenever you want.
Whenever.
I mean, like whenever I feel hungry, and I try my best to kind of identify when I feel hungry. Just because like working as a coach, you have to like go through that with your clients. But I really don't like when I wake up. Sometimes I'm not even that hungry when I wake up, so I just like don't eat. But most of the time I do. But yeah, just like I don't really have like a set schedule as to when I'm going to eat. I just try to make sure that I'm eating when I'm hungry. If you hear my stomach growl, that's when I'll eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so because of that, because of the lack of structure, I think that's where the problem lies.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Are you opposed to keeping a daily journal of what you eat?
Yeah, but I could make it work, but I would not like to make it work. You know.
Okay, so that's fine. I mean, I don't want you to do something that you don't want to do. You know, I mean, it's something about something you're comfortable doing and you're willing to do. Like, you know, I don't want it to be a chore.
Yeah, that's definitely a chore.
Yeah.
So making it. Can I interject for 1 second? Can I jump in?
Fine, Jacques. Hug.
No, all I was going to say was, I would say what.
Mr. 10,000 over here.
That's a 10,000. Oh, that's a. Ooh, look at that. Video on this now, everybody. I don't think we mentioned.
10,000.
No, all I was going to say was like, so if Angel, you think that the journaling isn't going to work, what is a way you can be sure of what you're taking in that's not, if you what sounds like the journaling is not something you're going to hold yourself accountable for doing, what is another way you think would, leading back to what Davis we're going to ask you next, but
I don't know.
All right, you're the coach.
I mean, that's tricky because like in my honest opinion, it's like, why do I need to keep track of what I'm eating when the problem is when?
Okay. I mean, for that, I'll go back into what you said earlier about structure. You know, if you keep track of when it is that you're eating, especially if you're keeping, you don't have to keep it for a week. You know, let's say you do it for a month. If you do it for a week, let's say you're eating at the same time or around the same time every day, you could in the back of your mind be like, okay, I don't need to keep journaling after the first week. I know that I eat usually around 10, 11 o'clock. Mm. And that's something you could probably, keep in the back of your head. I
think what would be more reasonable, and I'm only giving pushback because I know legit I'm not going to do it. So I'm being like a realistic client. Like, I'm not going to keep track of what I eat. I can definitely see myself keeping track of when I eat 100%, but keeping track of what I eat, it's not going to work. I mean, you can ask me and I'll know because I don't eat anything like flavorful or colorful. Like, it's just pretty much the same thing. The likelihood that I'll do that and I'll be motivated to do that and I'll like 100% do that is low. So. Okay.
Well, maybe now, go back, into your memory bank and say, okay, I eat around this time, and maybe set another alarm for yourself. Set an alarm for yourself in terms of drinking water. Maybe you could set an alarm for eating.
Yeah, that I can do. That I can do, and I feel comfortable doing it. Yeah.
Because, once you set it, you don't have to do it again. You don't have to think about it. especially if you keep it on a recurring thing.
Yeah. Yeah, right. 100%. And I still have like alarms for things like projections, right? Like I can just set an alarm
What are
for
those?
drinking water and like eating meals, and that should be. I know I can do that 100%, and I don't have to think about it. I think that that's the other thing too. Like sometimes when we go into like habit formation, like how much effort is this going to actually cost? And
Yeah.
obviously, effort is a variable that's like, how do you quantify that? But like mental effort, physical effort, and I think that it's going to demand too much physical effort for what it is, for me to write down what I'm eating, but to set a reminder to eat at certain intervals, I think will help me provide me that structure that I need.
Good. As long it's good. The way you're saying that makes me feel confident that you feel confident about doing it. So
Yeah,
it's a good sign. That so a quick recap on this in terms of I'm a big proponent of adding things to a person's routine rather than taking away. It's a lot harder to take something away from a person's routine. It's a lot easier to add. So, for example, about the greens and about you buying groceries, adding greens into your grocery basket for you rather than for someone else. That could be something that could help. And having a lot of greens in your fridge isn't necessarily a bad thing because you're gonna have them. You're gonna want to make them before they go bad. Okay. Um, in terms of dehydration, we spoke about having at least 3 of the bottles a day and setting timers and reminders to have it. That's a good one to have at least, because let's say you don't finish the last bottle, that's fine because you've had at least 100 ounces of water, I would say, which I think is a good marker. It's a good foundational thing. I'm not going to make the calculation and tell you you're going to need 134.5 ounces of water. Just keep the 120 as a little marker, and then you should be good. Does that sound all right?
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, and then meal timing, same thing for your water. Set yourself a reminder, and then if you decide that you're not hungry when the reminder goes off, that's okay, as long as you keep in the back of your head that you still have that food that you need to eat. At least to keep some consistency with the calories you're having a day.
Yeah,
And like you said before, you snack on the food that you have for the day. So if you don't have it when the reminder goes off, maybe you'll be snacking on it anyway.
sure.
Cool. I mean, does all that sound okay? Is that doable from 1 to 10? How sure are you that you're gonna probably keep this done?
I think it's a 10.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
did want there was this conversation
Sorry, Jacques, go ahead.
of nutrition intake and water. I know that there are. You said you were drinking 40 ounces a day. I don't know if those bottles are in the same measurements, but I know some people have the water bottles that, depending on where the water is, where the water level in the bottle is, it'll say like keep drinking almost there, or like it suggests the time of day you should have drunk it by. So like if you had like a 32 or 40 ounce bottle, and be like, okay, you should have drunk this much by 10 a.m. right? You should have drunk this much by noon. You should have finished this by 4 p.m. Like if that's something also that can help you be more visually aware of how much you're intaking, and this is another step also, but on the same token that I think someone at West 76 had this water bottle where it would bleep when it was time for you to drink again or something, like a reminder. Like I personally would hate that. That would piss me off. But it was a constant reminder for the person.
I had one of those. I threw it away. I had one of those. I threw it away the next day.
Well, I don't know if it would work for me. It probably wouldn't. But I don't think I'm not saying you would necessarily need it. But those are options where, like, if you felt that was an area that you were struggling to tackle, but it sounds like you're pretty confident anyway. That was just something, or even for our listeners listening in right now, like that's something we can suggest to you and try and find out the source of that, because I think that if water intake and hydration is a serious issue for you and just not thinking about it, and like again, we have spoken here about how it can lead to snacking, and it's definitely possible, and I'm guilty of it as well, where like you think you're hungry, you're just thirsty. Like if you think you're that hungry, drink a whole pint glass of water and then see how hungry you are after. Or like I know I've spoken to clients in the past where like if overeating is an issue, have a glass of water bter you eat a meal, and you will more than likely eat a lot less than you if you hadn't, So I just want to throw that out to our listeners as well, that there are like drinking water is a tactful habit, not only to make sure you're hydrated, but to control your eating, which in turn we've just spoken about. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Especially if you already finished your food for the day. And you're like, shit, I'm hungry still, and maybe just drink some water, right?
I also want to throw in the something my girlfriend's done as well is she puts drops of lemon juice in water, and I like personally I like the taste of water. I'm fine with it, but I know some people that doesn't like the taste of water. I need something with flavor, and 2 drops of lemon. I mean, if you really don't want to cut the lemon up and squeeze it, it now comes in bottles. I can't remember the name of this thing, but comes in a bottle, couple of drops in, and some ice. It is tastes better than just plain bland water. And if that, I guarantee you, at least with my girlfriend as well, that was controlling her water intake, and that helped her. Like she was having a lot more water now because she was having 11 drops in, and it's just a very minor adjustment to it, you know. So that's for our listeners. That's something that can also be a choice, you know. And there's no issues with having fruit instead of lemon. Whatever you think. Like if that's something that's going to help your hydration intake, those are definitely ideas that we're open to discussing in more detail on another podcast, or if you have any questions for us. So yeah.
Cool.
All
right. So what's we've got another topic on the agenda. It's about daily habits, like how we're able to maintain a routine during the COVID situation. Can you talk about that, Jacques? What's your daily routine?
I've been every day trying to get some cardio in first thing, even if it's not very much, just trying to get it in anywhere between 25 and 60 minutes a day just to get moving. And then I know you guys spoke about oatmeal on the very first episode, and I felt that my breakfast wasn't as consistent, and now I'm having oats every morning with frozen berries and fruit, so like I'm able to kind of get that routine. I did just mention I'm getting a brand new client, or a new client's going to start training virtually, but he wants to do 7 a.m. So it's going to screw me up a little bit, but like it's, Angel, you said you've had clients at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., so I can't really complain. And I want to ask you about it.
He has a reason, though.
Huh?
There's a reason why they're so early.
All I'm going to say is...
No, I think that your guy is working, right, Jacques?
He's working from home, man.
Yeah, but all right. So take it easy, right? So even if people are working from home, sometimes they still have like their meetings or their agenda.
Yeah, they have. You're right.
So like I get it. It's like you're working from home, but not everybody runs their own business. And even
I know. They don't know how they're scheduled. You're right.
They generally have to be up early to get it done. So I get it. It's a little bit of like why, but I have a lot of clients that would prefer to stick to their regular times, and that's been their reason for it.
Yeah, I respect it. To tell you the truth, it's more the fact that I just haven't woken up that consistently in over a month because of quarantine, right? Like I haven't been getting up at 4:45 since March 15th, over a month ago now. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to be, and like whenever we go on vacation and you like, oh, I haven't got up at like 5 in the morning in like a week, and it's a struggle. Like a month is going to be a struggle. So it's more like me hoping not to get up early, but like that's fine. I mean, ultimately, besides that, I've been trying to work out once a day, like strength training. And this is one of the very few times where I can have almost like a very set program with very limited interference because there's not much going on. So I'm trying to do like 2 lower body days. Now my knee's pretty much fully healed from the past procedure. I'm having,
2 leg days?
2 leg days, bro. We're back on the probably before I go back in the OR again. No. And then like a couple of days of push, couple of days of pull, and then a little bit of whatever. Yesterday I had to, you guys know Oliver? I spoke to you about that, Oliver's brand. They want me to film this workout that is going to be put on a story, and they wanted like
shit.
So I just got I got a milk jug, and I'm like, all right, you can do a whole workout with milk jug. So that'll be on their Instagram in the next week. So I just filmed with that. You know what? Yeah, shout out.
Okay, guys. Listeners, you guys gotta go to the market now. Get yourself a couple of gallons of milk, and get yourself a broomstick.
Yeah, man.
And Jacques got you. Jacques gonna help you out.
It can be milk, or it can just be you've emptied it and you've got water. But honestly, true, like all jokes aside, it is one Huh?
Oatmeal for our vegans.
Well, the milk jug is one of the closest things though. Like the handle and the weight of it, and
Yeah.
the fact you can clean it, and the way it sits on your hands and a press or clean. Like I'm not saying like kettle businesses are gonna be out of business, but like hey, it just makes sense to have that. And a couple of clients have reached out to me about lack of equipment and
Yeah.
um, and that's one of the first things I suggested. But I get it. That was kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then
Oh,
Ozark, getting into the Ozark, and then I know Angel told me that the Outsider ending was terrible. Oh my god, I was so mad when I watched the ending. Such a terrible ending.
I haven't seen it
Did
yet.
you see it, David?
Don't spoil
Don't
it.
bother.
No, not
Don't bother.
yet. Don't bother with the
Don't
outsider.
bother. The build-up is so good, and the ending, I was like, really?
Daily habits. Daily habits.
Daily habits. You're right. You're right.
All right.
Nah, man, this is a daily habit. Screw
This is
that.
daily habit TV watching.
I guess. Yeah, I guess it's
Not daily habit.
have a routine. David, what's your daily routine?
Well, I'm getting up a little earlier now than 10 o'clock, which is great.
I noticed that.
There's a time,
David's sending stuff at like 8 a.m.
there was a time, you know, that I know, man. There's a time where I was getting up at around 10, 11 o'clock. And then the fact that I was having a client at 11 o'clock, and I would need to have my breakfast before my client and all that stuff, you know, and also the fact that I'm sleeping earlier than 2 o'clock in the morning has been a lot of the big help, which is great. So, getting up earlier is great. I'm able to, get my stuff done in the morning. I've been, like Angel said, and Jacques said, having the oats, having some eggs, have some coffee. It's been helping a lot. In terms of keeping a routine, what I like with working out, I've been already writing it down for each day. So, which is great. I have a set time where I would work out, and I would try to structure my day around it. That's the biggest thing. I think writing it down for me helps a lot in terms of keeping a routine and keeping my habits in check. Like I know I need to eat right before my workout, and if I can't do that, I would eat right after. So that's been helping a lot. And then also maintaining 3 episodes or 4 a day has helped a lot in terms of not going to bed so late. No. We're still on?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
But yeah, we might have to work on. Yeah. Nah, I heard it like something going on, but yeah, we might have to work on the audio, but we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as my daily habits, I'll just throw my hat in the ring. I think everything kind of similar to Jacques and David. My schedule is kind of formulated around my clients, depending on how early I have them. Seeing some people at 6, seeing some people at 7, seeing some people at 9. So I still have to get up relatively early, or just like, I have to wake up when the sun rises at least. And I eat, do my breakfast, do a workout, and I'm trying to figure it out day by day, because like now we have clients starting to fill up certain slots, and then like each day becomes different. There was a point where I had like the weekend and then like a Monday off. Now it's like I have the weekend and actually now I just have the weekend, right? So my days are going to be a little bit more structured, and that should help out with everything else. And as far as the daily routine is like you work out when you can. I think I'm more of an early workout person. I think I've discovered that about myself. Like either I get it in right when I wake up, like in the morning, or I get it in like after lunch, or I try to do both, right? So I think that that's going to be the sweet spot for me. If I wait till late morning, the likelihood that that'll happen is low. If I wait till evening, the likelihood that that'll happen is low. So learning a little bit about myself in regards to like exercise and fitness and when my body actually wants to start going has been interesting. yeah, it's just been like an interesting reflective exercise, I guess.
Yeah.
What do your workouts look like right now?
I'm still preparing for the 30 miler, so I'm running outdoors, and I'm trying to do like full body days when I do like resistance stuff. So squats, cleans, snatches. I got a Viper now, so I can do like some uh,
Nice.
Viper work, all that stuff, and the calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, that sort of stuff.
Oh, you have a pull-up bar?
No, I got a scaffolding outside my building, like literally right out.
Oh,
That Rona.
nah, David, you should do it, man. There's no you get some gloves on. There's no reason why you can't do it.
Yeah, just throw gloves on. If you want, you can sanitize it.
No scaffolding around here.
Come on,
Our
man.
So you
buildings are
can
good.
find it. Man. Come on.
You're in Harlem. You're not looking hard enough.
You got to kip it. You got to do some CrossFit kipping.
I got a. I'm sorry. Some what? Some fish pull-ups.
CrossFit kipping.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Looks like the ski erg, actually.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so it's about it in terms of daily habits. I guess everybody kind of like can take a look at what they're doing and try to see if there's like a regimen behind it. Obviously, depending on the living situation, that's going to be like all those daily habits are highly dependent on living situations, right? And if you're in that, then you have more likelihood of like having repeatability. And then like work situation, right? Are you working? Are you not working? And then depending on that, same thing. Like how repeatable are your daily habits? Um, and I know that they shut down a couple of like parks as well. Like I know New York has shut down state parks, so that's going to be a little bit of an issue for people like in the summer months. And
People don't stay the fuck home.
Yeah, but people are still not staying home, and I saw that. I got a buddy in Canada, and
They're telling me Central Park looks exactly the same.
Is it really?
I have a friend that went running in Central Park and was like, Central Park looks exactly like it would look on like a Sunday afternoon.
The thing is, when you go to Central Park to do cardio, you have to do it, or wherever. Like typically, like since they have that zone in Central Park that's treating patients, it's not advisable to be in that park. But the other option is like Riverside Park or the East River, and those are pretty narrow, and then it looks dense. If you give the same population size that's in Central Park and you put that in Riverside, it's gonna look crazy. So the trick is, I think, above everything else, is like to get out there. If you're going to work out, to get out there when nobody's out there, and it's early. And today I went out early, and it was, or relatively early, and there were still like a decent amount of people, right? So we just got to figure out like how early should it be on a Friday, how early should it be on a Saturday, on a Sunday, and try to get it in if that's part of your daily routine.
David, what about you?
Sorry, I think I heard something on my window.
You got
my routines. What I've been doing was to work out at least 5 times a week to try to keep some normalcy. I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So that's been helping a lot. I have my kettlebell. I have my roller. Can do certain things through rollers like mobility and planks on the roller or something like that. I have my mini bands and things like that. So that's helped a lot. And then also calisthenics, push-ups and things like that. And all these damn challenges on IG is making me do these push-ups and swings.
Good.
Jacques, I think, nominated me.
Oh my God, I got to tell you about that swing challenge.
Dude, I'm doing that on Saturday. I've done it, but it's crazy. I've done it before. I could do it, but it's just the fact that, I don't want to bring it up again or use it as an excuse, but the fact that I was sick for 3 weeks and not doing anything really takes a toll out of me.
Yeah.
And then doing 500 swings. Yeah, and then like fucking doing 500 swings with a 28 kilo kettlebell. It's like, God damn, right?
Dude,
but I'm gonna do it on Saturday, and I know, man. We did it for a month, 5 times a week. We did it for a month, 5 times a week. It was rough. Yeah, I did this that was a couple of years ago. But I've been doing that. So I've been doing my cleans. I've been doing single snatches. Thankfully, I brought my chalk from work, so my hands aren't being as blistered up as usual. So doing snatches, doing swings. I'm doing at least 100 every workout. Um, you use gloves, Jacques. It's fine. But the thing is, it's like I'm waiting for my kettlebell that I ordered, which is it's a 20. So I could do a couple more things with higher reps, and that'll help a lot. So,
Angel, didn't I tag you on the kettlebell challenge?
Yeah, I think you did.
And what I'm gonna start doing.
Let's see him, man.
No, man. I'm tired of doing
Maybe.
it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it on Saturday.
I'm gonna do it. I'll do it after my 30 miles. After I run 30 miles, then I'll do it.
When is that?
It's in May. I'm either gonna do it. I have to take a look at the week, but I'm either gonna do it May 6th, 7th, or 8th. I'm gonna do it before my birthday, so I wanted to do 30 miles.
May 9th, right?
Anyway, so that's been my workout routine.
Yeah, man. I did that on Monday, guys, and my body was fucking. So even till today, my whole body is like.
How's your lower back?
My lower back was feeling it. My hammies might lose a little bit, but my hammies are like on fuego, man. Like
fuego means fire.
I don't want to do it yet.
What's up?
I said that's why I don't want to do it yet. Like I want to wait because like I can't run if like my hamstrings and my whole body hurt. Like David's so eloquently put, my whole body hurt. Like I can't run distance with that happening. That's not gonna be a good look. I mean I can, but I'll look like a zombie.
Well, how often are you running a week?
I'm trying to run like at least 5 times.
I think the 500 swings got me sick. So you don't want to any combination. You have kettlebells at home. Any sort of swing, clean, squat combination works wonders. Well, you don't have to do the fancy shit that you see online.
No,
especially when they're done incorrectly. But, it's like keep the swing, get your squats in, get your presses in, and you'll be solid.
Well, something I also tried the other day. Again, this was 2 days after the swing challenge. I was like, oh, let me just change up my leg day. I never done this, but like I know. You guys heard of German volume training?
Yeah.
So it's it's German volume training. So it's pretty much like you do
German volume training.
Yeah, so you do 2 different exercises, and you do. I think it's. I'm not. Don't quote me on the rep count, but you do 10 rounds, 10 sets of each one, and you just go between the two. And you do try. I don't. The German volume training does specifically study that there is a certain time frame of rest period, but I did 2 exercises and just did 10 rounds, and it was goblet squats for 20 reps and suitcase deadlifts for 20 reps, and alternate which side it's offset. And damn, the thing that's the sorest from it is my back, my traps from holding the kettle. That's the thing that's the sorest, which is kind of odd, but just like complete tension there the whole time. And I was gassed. But it's such a different, again, I don't have a barbell. I don't have any hex bars or whatever. So 2 kettlebells and just get creative with it. And like still like, and that's what I think something we just touched on in the first episode was, yes, equipment is limited. And something I put on a couple of my posts since this quarantine is like, I actually like the fact that we are challenged to be more creative. And if these are your only 2 tools or 3 tools you're using, all right, manipulate every other variable, such as rest period and then either the time of attention or rep scheme. Like I actually like, this is one, it's so very frustrating. Like I would go to work obviously and live our normal lives, but like the one thing I'm enjoying about this is like, hey, be creative. And I actually like a bit of, this is a very unusual structure for us, but like Angel just mentioned, like there are definitely some mornings where you don't have a client at 6 a.m. every day, right? In the usual routine. So you're able to work out pretty much every day when you wake up or after lunch every day. And I know that that's just not reality when we go back, but that is one thing that's nice here. Like, okay, I can have my set clients here and I can have my workout this time every day. And it's one nice thing about this where like we're able to do again, that's why I like it. And like I've made Fridays are my day off, so we got time to record this obviously, but I made Fridays are the day off. And I think Angel and David, you touched about this as well earlier, that now that more people are coming to realize that this is the now norm, the training is going to be on this for a little while. I think more people are starting to realize that this is just going to how it's going to be for a while, and and if you're able to get set recurring times of people, that makes things all the more normal. You know, the fact that like, oh, I only ever want to do like Monday at 7 a.m. or I want to do like a couple of my private clients have set times of me, and I'm like, all right, let's just be recurring because then it's just easier, and I know we're gonna do this time. And it just makes you have some kind of consistency in a time of in this pandemic where you can't get too much normalcy in it. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to start seeing more clients start to be approaching
To realize
about that idea, because like
sorry,
I even started with someone today who I'm going to train next week, and she we did like an equivalent of like a comp session together, and she was just saying like how she felt like she hadn't worked out in like over a year, but realistically it was just a month, because she just hadn't like pushed herself, hadn't like set down saying I'm going to exercise for this amount of time, and then I'm hitting her with like the regular exercises, a set, maybe a superset, 45 seconds rest, and it was like a smoke show, right? Like she was just like, I am hurt. She was like, I need water, I need a break. So trying to see how other people are going to approach this, I think is going to be interesting, because not everybody's going to run for the rest of the quarantine, right? And some people can't run, but not everybody's going to run for the rest of it. And if we don't want injuries to occur, but unfortunately it is the nature of the beast. People injure themselves, and they need to train smarter and not just like go out there and think you can do whatever you did 40 years ago, right? Because it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's a good point with training smarter. Like Jacques said, get creative with your workouts, but get creative in an efficient way. You don't want to add random things just because you're bored. I think the one of the biggest things, especially if you do have a kettlebell or you have some dumbbells at home, I'm a very big proponent of keeping things basic, keeping them simple. Get creative with the rep scheme, get creative with the time and attention, get creative with your rest, but there are certain things that without a trainer you shouldn't be doing. I understand that it's hard now because we don't have the trainer with you right next to you. But I think in terms of, for example, let me throw it out there, a windmill, like a kettlebell windmill or a get up, it's very technical, and you see a lot of people doing windmills with, lateral flexion of their spine, and that's like what it's not for, and then you see, Shots fired. Yeah, fucking all of Instagram, all the people, like, that's the thing. You see them on Instagram like crazy. I don't care. People get mad at me. The thing is, like, I get that you're home, and I get that people are bored, and I get that people are tired of their workouts. But I don't think, like Angel said, don't get hurt. Be smart about it. If you don't know how to do something that's very technical, just don't do it because you see somebody doing it online. Make sense? I mean, that's my opinion on the subject. Is keeping things efficient and simple, I think, goes a long way, especially for people that are new to this. The newbie gains is a real thing. Newbie gains is real. Like, you don't need all these fancy to do it.
There's something that brings me up to my next point where I FaceTimed a couple of my buddies from the UK this week, and one of them was saying, like, it's probably harder for you now that you're in the fitness industry and everyone is trying to be good. Like, I think
everyone's
someone else.
Now.
Yeah, everyone. Like I said, like, everyone's an influencer now. Everyone's a trainer, and like all of a sudden, everyone's got like the towels, and they're doing like the best booty or best like ab exercise ever. And like, it's not to say that someone like that can't be creative. What shots fired? Nah, man, leave 10,000 alone. Get out of here.
10,000 alone, David.
Just look. But anyway, like it's the thing he said was, "Oh, it must be hard," because again, it seems like everyone out of nowhere now is like, got the bands and doing like the best ab exercises, and it's not to say that not that you have to be a fitness professional to have the creativity. It's not that at all. It's that like my response to my buddy saying this is like, actually, if anything, it might be better now that some people are doing it because it's coming in such a huge amount of waves of people doing it that those who are either that can get to another level are able to display that. So when you see so much on your feed, if you see someone that, like you said, breaks down Turkish get up and says, "Hey, I've seen a lot of people doing Turkish get ups. This is something." And again, if you come with the angle saying, "Hey, this is something that might take your get up to another level," as opposed to saying like, "Your get up is trash. This is how you do it." Like, I don't think the person will go like, "Yeah, my get up's trash. Let me look." Like, I don't think someone's gonna be engaged with that. I could be wrong. So if you just say like, "Hey, this is a way of like that might change your get up," or "This is something that might change," or "This might be a way you prefer to do your get up," like because the way at least the way I was taught to get up at level 1 was when you're on your knee. We could post about this, but when you're on your knee, you almost screw into your knee and the skin, and I've had my knee issues, and now what I do is I open my hips, right? And that's not right or wrong. That's just a method that I prefer my get ups. And now when I look on Instagram, most of the get ups, half of them are one or the other. There's no right or wrong, but when I see someone's knee, I'm like, oh man, like that just my knees wouldn't agree with that unless I'm on like a certain surface, like sand, for example. It wouldn't matter. But if I'm on anything hard,
sand, bro?
Yeah, maybe we go down to Miami.
Cool.
No, I don't really sand here. But I'm just saying like surfaces that wouldn't be causing friction to the knee or the knee joint, but. That's just kind of what I liked about his point. My friend was like, actually it almost separates us, right? Like if we do have the equipment, or even if we don't have the equipment, like I know I mentioned gliders, like wow, damn, gliders is a lot you can do with your gliders, and I think this is not a bad time for us to propel us onto another level, like providing we communicate things the right way and not in a condescending manner. Because we can all admit we've seen something, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck? Like, two of my clients yesterday sent me videos of like the in-home gym fail, like compiled videos where someone's like doing curls and it just goes in the face, or like someone's doing pull down, the fucking door comes off the hinges and it just goes whacks in the face. And the best one, David, you'll see this. You like Olympic lifting. This dude is like got like a curling bar, but he's got it above his head. It's not just above his head; it's like above his head and like way back here, and it just goes. It's just shit. It's just so funny, and like, shit happens. It's whatever. But like, it just seeing that, it's like, yeah, you still have or like the other one I keep seeing was like guys doing dumbbell presses, and the clips weren't on properly. So they do the press, and the plates of the dumbbells go ching, 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 and they come smashing.
Yeah.
You imagine?
Yeah. And
I don't know if working out with a trainer is going to help, like the dumbbell or the door frame, but it does make sense. Like working out with coaches, kind of like we think about certain things, and like like even if it doesn't look like it, like we're thinking about it, right? Like we're thinking about foot placement. We're thinking about, do you have enough space to do this exercise? We're thinking about, is there a better space to do this exercise? Is it safe? All that stuff. And you might not see that, or you might not have seen that in your gym from like the trainers or the coaches at your gym. But like these are things that they do generally, like they think about, or at least we think about. I don't know how.
And to add to that as well, like you made a great point of saying like you don't notice it. Sometimes what makes a great coach is you don't notice things like that. Like the fact that you said we already think about, like when like if you want to do pulls, okay, like honestly, what is a pull? A pull is usually it's in the opposing force from the resistance, right? So if you think about any time you're standing or sitting, think about replicating the pull away from gravity, right? So like, whenever someone does those tricep extensions to the side with a dumbbell, that has to be one of my most hated exercises I've ever seen. I just don't think it's healthy to be shorter. But like, if you look at it from a scientific perspective, gravity's pulling you from below, and you're extending the tricep, yeah, but why don't you do it with a band, or why don't you change the angle you're doing it with a tricep, right? Because that's why a skull crusher is a similar exercise, but you have to think about what the joint is doing in relation to gravity. That's why, like, when we do certain things with our clients, like what you're saying, like you won't notice it, or you might not think, or that they might not think what we're doing is fancy, but of how effective it is because of what we're thinking about, and like how you think about where the line of pull is coming from, how you counter it. It doesn't have to be, like you also said, David, it doesn't have to be like the most creative, the most like crazy stuff, but like if it's simple and it works well, and if you said, Angel, that you take out the danger element, that's ultimately what our trainer is going to be doing. Like in addition to the programming, it's like, let's get you to do this in the most safest manner possible, you know?
Yeah.
Like the exercise with the rotator cuff exercise where you stand up and they're like this. It's like you're not doing anything. You're isolating a curl, right? But the line of pull isn't on the rotator cuff. It's like laying on your side and doing external rotations looks boring as hell, but it can be effective.
That's the thing. And when someone does have a dumbbell, you're saying like this?
Exactly.
Yeah. What, like, I get it at PT, like you said, you do it lying on your side, because think about where the weight is, where the opposing force on the weight is, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, but again, that's where, like, yes, the cable mimics exercises with weights, but the thing about the beauty of a cable is you change the angle where you pull it from, right? It changes everything. And like, the way I try and explain this to clients is like, if you think about a pulling exercise or pushing, like on the cables, you guys have seen CSI, right? All those kinds of shows.
Oh, okay.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is, do you ever see when they show the bullet trajectory go through the person, right? When it comes from where the bullets come and when it's going through the person, that's the way to think about when you're pulling, or if you're going against the opposing force of resistance, that's where you think about where it's going through, where your body's working, right? So if I'm doing a cable that's completely level on my chest, right? Okay, it's going to hit my middle part of the chest, right? Middle head of the pec major. Whereas if I start hitting a certain angle, that's where I start hitting my upper pec, because I've changed the angle where the pull's coming from, or the push is coming from. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not sure, yeah.
No, I think that's an interesting way of doing it. It's just like, I thought I was a psychopath because I tell my clients when they're doing cat-cows, think about somebody stabbing you in the back, and then think about somebody stabbing you in the gut. And now you come out here with your bullet trajectories. And you know what? It doesn't seem that bad after all. So, yeah.
I don't know. I think yours is still a little provocative, but at the end of the day, it's just breaking down to, like...
Yeah. It's a good way of thinking about it.
But, yeah, I mean...
just
that's
keep it
kind of
simple.
What's up?
Keep it simple to the viewers. Just keep your workout simple. Don't...
A little bicep curl, a little squat, a little
exactly
press, pick the weight up,
right.
walk around with it, put it back.
Pick something up, put it back down.
Yeah, right. Right, pick stuff up and put it back down. That's essentially what it is.
Don't get into a side plank with fucking bands and doing weird shit. I mean, hey, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone, but it's like, come on.
Yeah, I think like everybody should, if they haven't worked with a coach before, I think like everybody should work with a coach, because like there are so many reasons too, right? Progressions, regressions, knowledge of like stability, mobility, things like that. And I think you guys bring, if the exercise is safe, if the space is safe, I think you guys bring up good points. And I think that it's important that we make ourselves, it's hard to show all of that like through Instagram, right? It's hard to show that through like a clip on YouTube, but essentially that's what you're doing.
It's hard to maintain someone's attention, especially if you're trying to teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing as well. Like when I look at, if I'm watching a video, and this is my personal opinion, my personal experience, like if you haven't done the lift within the first 10, 15 seconds of video, I've lost interest. And that's bad, because sometimes the prep work is more important than the actual lift. But that's just something I've known. Again, that's just the world of Instagram, maybe, or a lot of social media, or but again, for example, you guys know Primal Soldier?
No.
David, I'm sure you've seen him. The guy, He's at On It Academy. He does all the kettlebell and animal flow. Pretty sure you guys have seen him. Anyway,
He left you hanging heavy.
he's like,
Bro, I don't want to lie to you.
Like, I'm not close.
I'm pretty sure you know him, but anyway, the point is, like, the way he does his filming, the way he does the camera stuff is pretty cool, right? But, like, when you break down what he's doing, it's simple. It's simple, but the way the camera angle is shot with when he
Primal
he's doing
Soldier?
Primal Soldier.
Oh yeah, no, I don't follow him.
I asked you to follow them.
You still got my follow?
Let's do this last point, and then we'll probably wrap it up because we're going a little bit over an hour. And
yeah, true.
But go ahead. We're having a good time.
No, we are having a good time.
God, Angel, you don't want to, Angel.
And for our viewers, or our listeners, sorry, we are starting to put together some video to some of these podcasts. So maybe this podcast, you might have heard something in terms of like the client puts their arm over here or then their hands over there. We're referring to like seeing each other over Zoom. So we're going to put some stuff together. So hopefully we can get some videos out as well as, a link to maybe a YouTube channel or something like that. And a lot of stuff is in the works. So
we're going to try to post, I think the YouTube stuff in a way, it's going to be a little more involved, I would assume. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think what we're going to also try to do is maybe short little minute clips on Instagram of little fixes and little tweaks they could do.
Yeah.
What?
So like teasers of the episode.
Yeah, that, and also small little clips of how to tweak a certain exercise.
Yeah. Something I want to add also was sorry, David.
That's fine.
Cool. Sorry, man. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Dude, talk, man. What are you doing?
All I was going to say was, for everyone listening, I know that Spotify is a platform that the episodes have been coming onto straight away, like within the hour we upload it. And we did have some issues with Apple Podcasts, but fortunately now they're all on there. So all the first 3 episodes we've got are already on there. So check that out. Again, Spotify is the app. If for whatever reason it comes onto the quickest, that's where we upload it. Which is awesome now. So you guys are able to listen to more platforms, and like we mentioned, sorry. Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah, for real. Spotify has been awesome. Spotify's really helped us. I think Spotify is also a platform for us to get our listeners on anyway. But I mean, it's super easy, super accessible. I personally want to shout out to 10,000 because I'm gonna hope to get the connection with us, and I think they've got the best shorts in the game. So if you guys are listening, you want 15% off, just type in my surname. Again, you're gonna have to listen to this carefully because it's not easy. It's 9 letters. DELAUGERE. Deloger. Don't let David say it.
I didn't say anything.
And then Angel mentioned the Viper he's been working out with. I'm tempted to get the Viper. That's actually something I'm tempted to get, and I'm even gonna get a pull bar at some point because I don't know how much longer this is gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a long haul battle, right?
At least another month.
At least. So.
At least.
We're still gonna get these podcasts out there, though. Don't worry.
Yeah, we have, big things coming. Big things coming soon. All right, let's wrap it up.
Cool.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending your day, evening, morning, night, whatever, with us. And we look forward to checking y'all out on the next podcast.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Guys, be safe.
Should I do that over?
Nah, David has got his face.
David's got faces. Yeah, I know.
He's like, what do you mean, baby? Yo,
I'm very animated. What do you want? I'm animated. I come on.
He is a meme. He sent so many memes that he's actually becoming a meme.
Yeah, man, but he's been on fire in the group chat, man. Every day, it's like.
Yeah, he sends a lot.
Damn, there's nothing else to do, man.
I guess that's true. That's one way of putting it. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
All right. Be safe, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.